I have here the new Mark II 7Artisans 35mm f2 lens, Leica M mount. I've just received this lens. It's a pre-production lens, so I want to share with you my findings after using this lens in street photography by day, by night, in real world use. Let's talk about this lens in this video now. Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Tudor Matescu and I like to talk about photography gear, photography tips and tricks. And if you are in content like this, please subscribe now to my channel, because I'll post more content like this. So, 7Artisans contacted me and asked me if I want some lenses. And of course, I wanted a street photography lens, and they sent to me this brand new pre-production lens, 35mm f2 lens Mark II. And yes, I wanted this lens because I've used for several years the 35mm f2 Mark I lens on my Fujifilm X-PRO3 camera, and I really love this lens. And I also used this lens on my Sony A7S and Sony A7R3. So I have some experience with Fujifilm and Sony cameras with this 35mm f2 Leica M mount lens, and I want to share with you my findings with this lens. So first of all, I was told that this lens is optimized for sharpness and for big resolution sensors. And yes, the Mark I lens, it wasn't so sharp at f2, and also the resolution on Sony A7R3, it was feeling like a vintage lens. But when I've used this lens on my Sony A7R3, I was amazed with the sharpness, with the contrast, with the resolution. So this lens, yes, it really delivers. The first point that I want to address, it is build quality. So I really love how this lens it is built. It's a small lens. Yes, it's a little bigger than the previous one, but it is still a small lens. So I have these lenses in my hand, and probably I will show some b-rolls and some photos with them. And I must say, yes, this lens it is a little bigger, but it's not heavier than this lens. From what I know, it's having 230 grams, so a very well built lens. I also like the aperture ring. It is not so flimsy as the first aperture ring. So you don't hear those clicks, those sturdy clicks, but you don't bump the aperture ring. I never bumped the aperture ring with this lens. I never bump it. But with the old version, I was always bumping the aperture ring. So from f2 I was moving the ring to f2.8 and so on. But no, this didn't happen to me with this lens. Probably it's also because of the design, I don't know. But when I wore the camera on me and the lens got friction with my body, the aperture didn't move by mistake. So a huge point here. Another fact that I want to add is that this lens has a built-in lens hood, so this element is protecting the lens. But yes, if you want to protect it more, you can add a lens hood, because a bigger lens hood, it will do the job better. But you have here some protection. Also, what I want to add regarding the build quality, it is the focus ring. The focus ring is not so smooth on my pre-production lens, but again, this is a little too smooth if you are asking me. I was moving this ring by mistake, so when I was putting this lens in zone focusing and doing street photography, the aperture got moved and the ring got moved. But the advantage here, the big advantage here, is that this focus tab with this focusing ring, it will not be bumped when you are wearing the camera on you. So you set your aperture at a fixed value, you set your focus tab with your focusing at a fixed zone focusing value, and your lens will keep the settings, because the friction will not influence the aperture ring and also the focusing ring. So huge deal here, huge deal here. Also, my pre-production focusing tab, it's a little smaller. They told me that the mass production of this lens will have the focus tab a little bigger, probably like this one from what I saw from their picture, but I was able to use this lens like this, but also a bigger focus tab. It will be a very nice experience for manual focusing, and this is why I like a lot Leica lenses made from 7Artisans, because they are having the focus tab, and focus tab, it's a huge deal for manual focusing. I really would wish to see focus tab on Sony dedicated lenses and also on Fujifilm dedicated lenses, because this focus tab is helping us memorize where we are focusing the lens. Also, I would like to add that this lens is coming packed into this magnetic box with a focus ring and all the accessories that you need to calibrate this lens, and also you have this protective lens case, very well built, nice touch, beautiful and amazing. I really love this kind of packaging, so you get very good quality at a very good price. So build quality top notch, and you also can calibrate this lens for your Leica system. The next thing that I want to address is the Mojoness factor, the fun factor with this lens. Well, as you can see, I'm a big fan of 7Artisans 35mm f2 lens, because I've used it a lot and I've got great results. So the fan factor, it is huge, it is big, and again, this lens, how I've said, it's a little bigger, but not by much. On my Fujifilm X-PRO3, this lens is staying amazing. Also on my Sony A7R3. The pictures that I'm showing in this video are made with a full frame camera. I will test this lens on my Fujifilm X-PRO3, and I will make a second review how this lens is acting on my Fujifilm X-PRO3. But as a first impression, it's acting very well. Nice images, nice beautiful images with the Leica look. Also on my Sony camera, full frame sensor, but also on my Fujifilm X-PRO3 and Xe4 camera. So now let's talk about the image quality. Is this lens delivering? Well, I must say yes, it's delivering a lot. It's delivering a lot in such a small, again, package. Such a small package. So it is sharp from f2. I really love the f2 images. I really love them. Also at f2.8 and also at f16, f22. I'm showing on the screen pictures with sun stars, so you get beautiful sun stars with this lens. Also at f2 by night you get some sun stars in the highlights, so I really like that on the pictures. I really like that. I don't know if the pictures that I'm showing are made at f2.8 or f2. I really don't remember because I don't have EXIF data, but the lens performs very well by day and by night for street photography, for urban photography, but also for portrait photography. So a totally usable lens all day long for your Leica M mount camera, or for your Sony camera, or for your Fujifilm camera if you will adapt this Leica M mount lens. Also, I would like to add the fact that the rendering from this lens, straight from the camera, it's a Leica look. It's having that glowy look, that Leica look, but also with sharpness, with punch, with a modern look. So very good quality. It's another lens. It's a totally another lens compared to the old one regarding image quality, sharpness, resolution and rendering. Regarding image quality problems, I saw some purple fringing in the high contrast areas, but it's very well corrected with the defringe tool. So very fast I was able to correct the fringing, and it wasn't bad. It was acceptable. It's a workable purple fringe. It's not something that I don't expect from a lens like this or any other lens. So a totally well-controlled purple fringing problem if you are asking me. Also the flare, very well controlled. I wasn't expecting this also because this lens was flaring a little more than this lens. So very well controlled lens flare, and also the vignetting on my Sony A7R3 camera, very well controlled. I didn't see much problems. So very well controlled image quality problems with this small lens. The minimum focus distance of this lens, it is 70 centimeters, a normal Leica minimum focus distance. So this is where you could see a problem, but if Bresson was able to use a 50mm and a 35mm lens with this minimum focus distance, why I would find a problem here with this lens? So you have a normal minimum focus distance for a Leica lens. So for who is this lens? For me, it is for people who are liking to do street photography using a focus tab because they understand the power of a focusing tab. A built-in focusing tab, not a focusing tab that you attach by using a lens tab or with a 3M adhesive tape. So a built-in focusing tab, it's a huge deal. This was the main reason why I bought the Leica version M mount for my X-PRO camera or for my Sony camera, and I didn't bought the E mount or the FX mount from 7Artisans. I wanted the built-in focusing tab. So in conclusion, I feel that this lens, it's a huge upgrade to the old lens, a huge update, but a good update, a very good update, not just because of the image quality. So a very well controlled lens flare, very well controlled purple fringing, vignetting, sharpness, resolution, rendering, but the main point here, I think it's the size. The lens is still small. The lens is still very small. So it's very appealing if you are having a Leica M10, a Leica M9, a Leica M11 body to take this lens and use this lens if you don't have budget for a Leica Summicron 35mm f2. So if you want to invest in a Leica body and you don't have the money for a Leica lens, then this is my go-to lens. But also if you are having a Fujifilm X-PRO3, X-C4 or a Sony camera, you can use this lens with an adapter and the feeling it's also great. And I must add a very important aspect here, that this lens is not blocking the viewfinder on my Fujifilm X-PRO3. So a small powerful lens. 7Artisans did a great job, and I feel the price it's amazing regarding what you get in the package. So I totally love this lens. It's a huge upgrade compared to this old one, and I will do in the future a review about this lens on my Fujifilm X-PRO3 and comparing this lens against this lens with my long-term results. So please be sure to subscribe to see those videos. Also please like, share my video, check my affiliate links if you want to support my work. Leave me a comment, share my video, and thank you a lot for watching this. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.